VR controllers are the gateway that allows us to interact with our virtual world, so they're one of the most important aspects relating to the quality of gameplay we experience. The current iteration of Quest controllers have come a long way since the Quest 1, but they still prove to be lackluster in some areas. I've never liked the thin straps they come with, and I don't even have them anymore actually. They didn't feel secure in the slightest, and they tend to just be annoying. Enter the MaeckerVR controller grips. These aim to make 3 distinct upgrades to your controller: added grip, adjustable straps that secure the controller to your hands, and rechargeable batteries. But for their $40 price tag, is it really worth upgrading for these grips? Well, I've been playtesting these for the last week, and I think I've come to a pretty good conclusion by the end of it. So stick around for all the pros, cons, and quirks of the MaeckerVR direct charge controller grips for the Meta Quest 3 and 3S. As a quick disclaimer, Maecker did send me these grips to try out, but all thoughts and opinions about these are absolutely my own. If you're interested in picking some up for yourself, you can use the link in the description and coupon code TUMBLEBUD to save 20% off and help support the channel. Thanks so much to MaeckerVR for sending these over, and let's get right into it. Alright, first let's take a look inside the box. Inside you'll get your 2 controller grip covers, a charging cable with a split so you can charge both controllers at the same time, a manual, and the rechargeable batteries. Upon first impressions, these felt really comfortable and snug in the hand. The silicone material is an immediate upgrade from the hard plastic, and the straps have some very welcome padding in them. The black color is a nice look, I like it. And one of the other first things I noticed is that these covers make the controllers fit a little bigger in my palms. For me, this is a wonderful upgrade because I have somewhat big hands, and generally I feel like the standard controllers are a little too small for me. But if you have smaller hands, this might be an unwelcome change. Installation was pretty simple. You just slide the battery packs in, slide the cover over, and then you're ready to charge them up. I wish the cover on the circle around the buttons was a bit tighter of a fit. It feels pretty flimsy up here, and I find myself trying to resist the urge to pick at it sometimes. One important part of the setup to keep in mind is that you need to make sure the battery plate is closed all the way. You'll have to use a little bit more force than you're used to, but this is essential because otherwise the grips will start to slide off as you play. At one point the cover slid over my grip and it was pressing down automatically, and it caused all sorts of problems in the game. But I haven't encountered this since I just went back and fully closed this, so yeah, just make sure you do that. Next, let's talk about what I really like about these grips. I didn't expect for this to be a huge point for me, but I am never going back to regular batteries after using these. Being able to simply plug them in to recharge is just great, and I was impressed that it came with the split cable. It's perfect, really. The website says they fully charge in an hour, but I actually haven't been able to test that too much since the first time I charged them, because they have yet to come even close to dying. It's a beast. I've literally been using them all week, and the headset says they're both sitting at 90%, so yeah, I love that. I mentioned earlier when I first pulled these out that the silicone feels great. Once I got to actually gaming with these, it makes a world of difference, and honestly, truly does add to the comfort of your controllers. The grip on it does its job well, and I've had no issues with these slipping around or anything, especially because the straps are there as well. These straps are super adjustable. I found different levels of tightness can kind of be useful for different games, but I'll go into detail about that when we talk about some of the quirks with these grips. Alright, moving on to the things I don't like as much, let's start with the straps while I'm on the topic. It took me a lot of tweaking and adjusting to get these feeling great in my hands. I often felt that there was either too much pressure or not enough, and finding this balance really did take some time. This led me to be distracted in game, as every minute or two I was getting uncomfortable and stopping to adjust it again. Additionally, it's hard to adjust them while you're actually wearing them, which is really unfortunate because that's kind of the best way to feel it out. I found what works best is, funny enough, biting the loop and then pulling it with my mouth to tighten it while I held the button down, but obviously this is not ideal. Even at some of the looser adjustments, after long sessions like an hour or more, these straps can start to dig into my hands and get uncomfortable or irritated. I was surprised about this because the padding feels so soft, but one of the aggressors here for me is this little metal connector. After one session, it had left a little circular imprint on my hand, so I'm trying to spend a little more time balancing the tightness with comfort. My final main issue with these is that I can't fit my controllers into my case anymore, which kinda sucks, but I mean, I don't really take my headset anywhere, it's more for storage. Also, this is a Quest 2 case, so I'm kinda cheating already, but still, this is absolutely something you need to keep in mind if you do use a case a lot. Alright, now onto the quirks. These aren't necessarily good or bad, just some things you'll have to keep in mind if you're thinking about buying these. One thing that was initially quite the issue for me was the system it uses to adjust the straps. If you see here, it's connected at the top, and the adjustment is here at the bottom. This makes it a little lopsided by nature. When I tighten them, I can feel more pressure on the bottom of my hand than the top. This was originally a big problem for me, but something caught my eye and I thought I was kinda onto something. I realized that the end of the elastic strap seemed to be conveniently shaped to wrap around this circle on the other side. When I hooked it on, it straight up solved this imbalance issue altogether. Yet, after a while, I came to the realization that the nature of this mechanism means that if you use it like this, no matter how much you tighten or loosen it, the tightness on your hand is gonna pretty much be the same. This creates quite a conditional situation, because if you like the tightness of it, this will be awesome, and if you don't, it's a little pointless. I think it's a perfect solution when playing games like Beat Saber, because it holds your controllers really secure in your hand, and you don't have to worry about pressing any buttons, which is a little more difficult in this configuration. Additionally, it puts away the dangling part of the straps that usually doesn't cause much trouble, but in a game where you're swinging around your hands, they're immediately noticeable because they swing around and slap at you. By the way, this method doesn't seem to be promoted or instructed by Maecker in the manual or anywhere else really, so I don't think it's an official feature, but I could be totally wrong about that. Anyways, apart from Beat Saber, I just opt to not hook them because when the straps are a little looser, this whole unevenness really isn't a big problem. It's more so noticeable when you start getting them really pulled in and tight. This brings us to another quirk, which is that I find different levels of tightness are better for different games. Like I mentioned with Beat Saber for instance, this is a game where you're swinging around a lot, but you don't need super comfortable access to every button. In this case, I always found myself tightening these straps a lot. They can get really secure to the point where there's no chance that they'll accidentally fly out, so it's a substantial upgrade for games like this. When I'm playing a shooter or another game that doesn't involve nearly as much movement, but I need consistent and comfortable access to all the buttons, I find myself tightening my straps just past the threshold where I feel like they won't fall off if I dangle my hands. This has generally been the most comfortable for me and what I shoot for at default. But as I mentioned earlier, it took me a long time to get this adjustment just right. And now that I have it, I'm a little hesitant to adjust them again for other games because I know I'll have to really dig in to get them just right again. So, are these MaeckerVR controller grips worth the upgrade? Well, if you're interested in rechargeable controllers and don't like the current feel of Quest controllers, I think they are absolutely worth it for you. They completely change the feel of the standard controllers for the better, and for shorter sessions, they're incredibly convenient. Having the strap that lets you let go for once, it feels great and adds a good helping of immersion to not have to constantly cling to a hunk of plastic. However, if the rechargeable feature is an afterthought for you and you regularly play for really long sessions, I don't think these grips are going to be worth it for your needs, as the long-term comfort just isn't there yet. Alright, that's all I got for today. Remember to use the code TUMBLEBUtt if you pick these up and get a little discount. Thanks for watching, be good to yourself guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye now.